Tell me now. You could let me know.
Yeah.
You're in the comments as well. Let me know now. Any man you know would not take up the opportunity to go and drive in a Formula 1 car. You tell me. Watch your smiling. I know for sure you will take it.
No longer want to do that. Welcome to On The Beat podcast. My name is brentbalfour.
Listen, the name is Brandon. I know I didn't see me in a while, but
we didn't see him in years, people. What do you think? It's years.
I know.
Well, I can't remember if he was in the last season though. I doubt it was in the last season.
I don't think I was in the last season. No, I can't remember.
Y'all, this is the 7th season. Right? The 7th season. So that means it has to be a perfect season because it says 7 is the perfect number.
Of course, all the time. 7 is my lucky number, you know?
Watch, man. Y'all ain't heard our voices in a long time, right? And we missed y'all every single day of the week.
My
I don't know if
goodness,
Brandon missed all them.
Of course I do. What are you talking about? You don't have Brandon miss. Of course I miss you all a lot, alright?
Watch me, I only speaking for me, right?
Good.
Anyway, I hope everybody is good out there. What we have to say, Happy New Year to them. You think we should say Happy New Year?
I mean, I find we should still say Happy New Year because we ain't hear from them in a good while.
Yeah.
You know, Happy New Year to you all. If your birthday passed already, happy birthday as well. What else passed? Valentine's. Happy Valentine's Day. You know,
Christmas past.
Christmas past, yes.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well, Carnival. Happy Carnival.
Well, it's not everybody gonna be in Carnival though because they're going to the world.
Everybody in Carnival.
Everybody in Carnival. Yeah, whatever anniversary, happy anniversary, whatever all you're going through in life, happy towards that. Anyway, today we want to talk about, would you risk doing something? You understand? Would you risk it?
I mean, me personally, I would risk it. I mean, the reason why I wasn't in the last season was because I myself took a risk. And that paid off really good for me. Really good.
So he is trying to say because he wasn't in the podcast, it was a better scenario. You understand?
That is not what I am saying. I told you I'm putting words in my mouth. But no, I mean, I did take a big risk. Being 21 years old, I mean, you want to have that kind of security in life. And the chances I took and the risk I took paid off in great dividends. But I know as well that some of my previous co-workers who would have wanted to take that risk as well, it didn't pay off for them. So,
exactly,
really and truly, right. You know,
Watch me, do you think risk is about your, not which part you are in life, but how to say age brackets? So in other words, we're saying young people, it might be easier to risk changing career or study-wise or wherever you live in, change. You know, change is easier when you are a youth than when you are older. What do you think about that? I
would say yes. And the reason why I would say yes is because both my mom and myself went through the exact same kind of situation where we had to take a risk.
Right.
So it was a lot easier on me, seeing as I was young. Well, I am still young. Seeing that I am young, it's still, if the risk didn't pay off for me, it wouldn't be that bad. It would just be like a slap on the wrist. You know, this was just a speed bump, you could get back up. But mom, seeing as she's a little more
older.
Yeah, she's a little older. Yeah. She's more seasoned in life.
Yeah.
If it did not pay off, well, I mean, she still did take the risk because the dividends was going to pay high for her.
Right.
But I would say yeah, because if the risk didn't pay off for moms, then I mean, it would have been a traumatic and a very bad loss.
Would you have taken this risk if you were married and had a child?
No. Well,
so it could be all about the stage that you are in life as well.
Yeah. Totally. I feel like risk taken as well. What the younger generation hears from the older generation is if you have something good going, why change it? But what I would say to that, and what my counter arguments usually is, what if the risk that you are thinking about taking, what if that pays off better than what you're already doing here? You know?
And here's the scenario about taking a risk. taking a risk it actually means you are going to step in something that is unknown. True, it might be successful for other people, but you're not too sure if it would be successful for you.
Exactly.
You understand? So you are taking yourself out of your comfort zone, right? You are seeking discomfort, hashtag seek discomfort, right? And you're not too sure if it will pay off. And that is the highlight. There are a lot of people outside here refuse to take the risk because they don't want to, for example, they don't want to end up on the streets. You understand?
Yeah.
So they will not quit their job. A young person, however, quick, what? You bad talk me? You understand? Or you talk to me too hard?
Boss man, you ain't pay me enough? Nah, I gone. Later. Goodbye.
Easy. A youth will quicker leave a job than a seasoned adult. You understand?
Exactly, yeah.
Because a seasoned adult now will do the calculations. You understand? While a youth ain't even thinking twice.
Exactly.
You disrespect me, I walking out the job.
Correct is right. And I mean, I feel like that that mentality of, yeah, I gonna leave this work here, I feel like it would also tie into how big you will dream. You know? I had a good few friends from high school.
Yeah.
They wanted to go to university. It wasn't what they were expecting. Their parents wanted them to go. Their children, well, not children, oh God, their family, their relatives, their friends, you know, all of them. They wanted that security of university for the people on them, well, for my friends.
Yeah. But
the ones who didn't want to go down that road, I mean, you could force a horse to go to water, but you can't force them to drink. You know. So they eventually did voice it, yo, I don't want to be doing this university thing. The parents, thank God they had that kind of support.
Right,
in terms of
because some parents
listening.
don't want to hear that, you know.
Exactly, yeah. They took the risk, left university because they had jobs lined up for that specific degree.
Right.
They left the university, they went on to build their own brands and stuff like that. Went on to travel the world, they went on to do all kind of different stuff that made them feel happy while also bringing a monetary gain to them, as well as their mental state was a lot better than when they were in university.
See what you talk about, and I heard of it plenty in schools from teachers and so on, that the system creates a kind of environment where we have to rely on safety. We have a safety net, and they try to say, hey, this is your safety net. Having an education is the safety net. Having a proper job is the safety net. You know, you settle along or whatever be the case. They never promote going after your passion. You see, going after your passion is something that is so risky.
It is. You understand? It very much is.
Because it may not be in line with what the system of the world is pushing. And therefore, your passion might be asking you to leave your country. You understand?
Yeah.
Leave your country. And when your parents hear that, oh wait, you going and do such and such, so how are you going to live across there? Where you going? All kind of thing, you understand? And you have no family across there because it might be going Angola or some Egypt or some some of
that out of the way, you know?
Where you don't have family. And it's like, you will hear the logistics, and you will hear the reasonings, and you will say to yourself, do I want to seek my passion, or do I just want to, do what the system says to do? Buckle down, when they're ready to leave your parents' house, they should have a good job, have a family, blah, blah, blah. The typical standard of life. Yeah.
Where you want the white picket fence, you want the kind of security in terms of if something does happen, you have that.
And a lot of people tend to be like that. Let me ask you this question. Sure. Now, I am not going to be gender biased. Yeah, remember that. I'm not gender biased. Here is the reason why I put that disclaimer out beforehand.
Sure, yeah.
They said that women tend to, one of the characteristics they look in a man is if they have security, which is a safety net.
True.
You understand?
Right.
So my question is, would men quicker take a risk more than women?
I feel like that's a two-sided question in terms of when you say risk could be anything. In terms of risk could be moving from like
Point A to point B.
Point A to point B,
Yeah.
exactly. Or a risk could also be taken in terms of you doing something to fill your adrenaline rush. So I would say that on one side, yes and no. It depends on the type of mentality that the man does have.
Yeah.
In terms of if he wants to leave that job, if he wants to go and pursue that passion, if he wants to go and, just that kind of aspect, I believe is a yes and a no. It'll depend on the man's mentality, but in terms of doing something that is adrenaline filled, in terms of like jumping out of a waterfall or bungee cord jumping or whatever you call it, zip line and stuff like that, I think men would take that risk
more
because
than women.
yeah, I mean, tell me now, you could let me know.
Yeah.
You're in the comments as well. Let me know now. Any man you know would not take up the opportunity to go and drive in a Formula 1 car. You tell me. Watch your smiling. I know for sure you will take it.
No longer want to do that. No longer want to do that. Watch every day on I to watch China Grand Prix today. You understand? Watch anyway.
That's how we got different days.
I want to send me in a childhood dream day. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I've heard from friends. I ain't saying no names, I ain't saying nothing, but you can analyze from friends or from colleagues and you would hear their stories, which is either if they are single, they're thinking about doing such and such, but they don't know if to do it. If they are married, one of the persons in the marriage thinking about leaving their job. You understand?
Yeah.
But it's no plan B, right? It's not no like, hey, they're getting a promotion or they're getting something else, but it's like maybe they think it's that time to leave. Even simple things like, well, for young people, it would be more about changing the career part, you understand? Instead of studying this, they will just change the major and study something else.
Correct,
But what you think is one of the most difficult risks in this life?
The most difficult risk?
It's a plenty.
It's have a lot, yeah. But I think the most difficult risk that young people face in this day and age, following their dreams. Following the young people these days, they always saying, if they want to do this, the old people and them saying, no, you can't do this because this is the case here. That just breeding a level of negativity towards that, and eventually you will not want to pursue that dream anymore. You will just look at it as a childhood fantasy, something that is something that you want to do. You're seeing people doing, but you know that you can't do it. That is the biggest risk that young people do face in this day and age, and something that I have experienced as well. From since primary school coming up.
You're right, because of the fact that brentbalfourproductions is actually birthed because of it. Because of the experience I faced in growing up. I realized I couldn't get to pursue my passion, and because of either parenting, their pathways, they say no, you need a proper job. Their idea of having a proper job, you know, and yeah, it's been embedded in your where you will hear your parent or guardian saying that, hey, you need a steady income. You need to make sure you have your own house, your own car, or whatever be the case, to mind your family. So it's all about security they're trying to install in you. And when they hear about your passion or your dreams, as they highlight, they shut it down because they say, we're going to get rid of that. One of my dreams was, I love drawing. and arts. You understand?
Yeah.
We're going and get with that. One of my dream was sports.
Yeah.
How far you going and get through with that? I remember my father saying, hey, no more sports, only books, because sports ain't gonna get you nowhere, books will get you somewhere. To me, that is, if you end up becoming good in sports, but then again, you need the backing.
Exactly, yeah.
To become good in sports. And yeah, Brent Balfour Productions, we created this so we could create platforms where young people could express themselves, their avenue to express themselves, and we try to link them up with the right company or whoever that could nurture their talents even greater. You understand? And hence the reason why for this podcast, where young people could voice their opinions through this podcast as well.
Exactly.
And that is one of the ways we could kind of nurture or channel that desire that young people have, but they don't have no way to express it because they're getting shut down.
Exactly, yeah. The avenues that you want to take to voice their own opinions and voice their concerns, as well as voice their dreams, their passions, these things that they want to do with their life, and then knowing they could do. I feel like this, at least Brent Balfour Productions, provides that for a lot of young people, myself included, because I know for sure that I had a good few episodes where I was on the podcast where I wanted to voice my opinions about something, and I just didn't have not necessarily the people, but the correct ways of voicing it. I mean, I could attest to it. I'm sure a lot of young people could attest to it as well, that the podcast does have a kind of effect on you after you leave, where you go home and you sit down and you think about exactly what you talk about. Whenever you watch it back, you realize, wait, now, this is what was the point here again? Right, yeah, this is what we do. This is what we were discussing. This is what we were talking about. This is how I perceive this here. So I feel like that is one of the major things when it comes to expressing somebody, well, young people's emotions and stuff like that.
What message would you give a young person out there concerning taking a risk?
If it is that your heart desires it, I don't believe that there's anything in this world, in this life, and maybe not in the next lifetime as well, that should or could hinder you from doing exactly what you want to do with your life. It's yours. You could do whatever you want with it. You could take the risk. You could be the happier version of you, or you could stay where you are now and possibly be even happier. The thing about it is possibilities. Yeah, you have to weigh your options. You have to know that if this is something that you want to do, then this could be the con of it, but this could also be the benefit in terms of your mental state.
Yeah. And you're right. And to add to what Brandon said is that especially if your heart's desire is something that will benefit not just you, but your community or your family or even your country. Or, for example, some people might feel blessed by whatever you produce in this life. I would say go after it, you understand? Once it's not something that is like a criminal act. You understand? Your passion is to, I want to be the best robber ever.
Nah, that one I wouldn't support at all. I wouldn't support that. I don't advise against it, please.
Yeah. But the fact is that I would say sometimes you may not have the backing, meaning your parents may not support you in this endeavor, or you will get scolded and say, hey, you have to go and study your books. See if they would at least listen. Sit down with them and have a grown-up discussion with them, even though you are not grown as yet. You understand? And share your thoughts and your concerns, because I could tell you as an adult, I wish I had my opportunities when I was younger to go after my passion. Now, for me to go after my passion is a calculated risk. You understand? Because they come like, hey, you're at this age where you may not have no do-overs, and if you mess up now, would you be able to reel it back and you know, get back how your life used to be. And that's why a lot of adults don't take risks, because they are afraid of failure. Young people, do not be afraid of failure. You understand?
The thing that young people have that the adults don't is time.
Yes.
You all have the time. You all have time to mess up. This is, I mean, in the 20s and the early teens as well, coming into adulthood.
Yes.
This is the time where, I show you here, it's already from parents, from even other podcasts where, like Joe Rogan and stuff like that. You would have heard that you have the time now. Now is the time to mess up. Now is the time to fall down. Now is the time to get back up. You have that time to do it. And I don't think that you all should be afraid of anything else, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even talking to the adults out there, I think it depends on your situation. I have seen adults take risk and it paid off. Some it didn't pay off. I'm being truthful. But a lot of times it paid off, but it was such a big risk where, man, shall I take that job in Canada? You understand, that kind of way? That means I have to move my whole entire family there.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes instead of just doing, yes, true, you will do the pros and cons. But sometimes you just have to just follow your heart, follow your dream. Ask God, hey, shall I take it? Shall I not? Shall I do this? Shall I not? You know? And just move forward, even though it's on the path of the unknown, even though you haven't walked there beforehand. And and move by faith.
I would say that as well.
Side.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, Brandon. We back at it, we back at it.
Yeah.
Season 7 rolling, right, for the next few months. And keep tuned, right? Next week we'll be in a different spot. So tune in for next week episode. Soon we'll be going live, people, right? And check me out this season. Check me out. So comment, right? Share the podcast. Tell everybody about the podcast. Young person, older persons, and
I would say so. That's a good closing of
that's
message.
right. That's right. See you later.
Adios.
Risk it for your biscuit.
Thank you for listening to On The Beat Podcast. Feel free to share, follow, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. Stay blessed, everyone.